Okay, welcome everyone to this call. I just hit the record button so that we can also share with those of you who wanted to watch the replay here. So whether you are catching this live or later, so happy that you are joining us to learn a little bit more about what we do as coaches. I wanted to start by introducing myself and my husband. So my name is Amber Kuiper. This is my husband,
Jake.
He loves when I do that to him. This is my husband. This is my husband, Jake, and we started coaching in 2015. It was really more me at the time, and since Jake has also come in and works the business now full time alongside of me. But we in 2015 started this little team, and tonight I really just want to share the story of how we got started and kind of where we were in 2015 to where we are today. And after I get done sharing my story, I'm going to go into kind of the nuts and bolts about what does it mean to be a coach, and what do you have to do once you sign up to be a coach in order to help other people and to grow a business. And then Jake is going to talk about the resources that we have to help our new coaches really thrive and succeed in this business. So that's kind of a layout of where we're headed tonight. So I'm going to start by bringing you into our story about 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, I was a stay-at-home mom. I had 4 kids under 4 at the time, and I had always been someone that was fairly active. I was a big-time runner. I liked to go to the gym. We had a gym membership. We had childcare. And after my first 2 pregnancies, my first was a little boy, and then 17 months later, I had twin girls. After those 2 pregnancies, I was able to kind of get back to where I wanted to be fairly easily. But it was after my 4th baby that I found myself on the struggle bus. And so it was about 6 months after I had Case, our littlest boy. And I just reached this point really where I didn't quite know who I was anymore, to be honest. It wasn't that I had a huge weight loss story, but it was more than anything for me, just emotional and really struggling with a lot of postpartum depression and anxiety. And on top of that, I did still have a little bit of baby weight to lose. I wanted to tighten up, but I reached this point where nothing I was doing was working. I was frustrated. And Jake and I ended up going on a trip to Hawaii. This was 4 years ago in February. And the whole time we were on this trip, this was like our first trip after we had our babies. And, it's supposed to be this awesome trip for us. And so we were there though, and honestly, I was so down about myself, and I was kind of just self-absorbed the whole time, to be honest, because I wasn't confident in my own skin. I wasn't excited to be in a swimsuit, and I was really at this place where I didn't know what to do, because I wanted to be the wife that Jake needed and wanted, but I couldn't even get out of my own head. And so that was really when I realized that this was deeper than just needing to lose baby weight, but it was really more of a self-confidence issue more than anything. And it was affecting my family. I was tired all the time, all of the things that made me not feel like myself. So here we are on the airplane on the way back, and I randomly am on Facebook scrolling, and I see a friend post about a workout program that's called the 21-Day Fix. And you know what? I had seen her post about that several times before, and quite honestly rolled my eyes at it. I thought, gosh, good for her, but that doesn't really seem like something I would ever want to do. It's probably some sort of, quick diet fad that I don't want to be a part of. And so, but for whatever reason, that day I had reached this point where I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just give it a shot. What do I have to lose? What I'm doing is not working. I don't feel great about where we're at in our marriage. I just need something. And I turned over to Jake and I showed him. I was like all excited. And do you remember what you said?
No.
So what he said in that moment was, I don't know. I don't really think we need any. And he didn't truly understand where I was at. I should say that. I was just like, hey, this looks really awesome. I didn't really give him much reason as to why he should really take a look at it. But I was like, I really want to do this. And his first thing was like, oh no, we have a gym membership. We're paying for the fancy gym membership. you have all the tools that you need. Like, I don't really think that this is something we need to spend money on. At the time, again, we were a one-income family. So we had to be really careful about what we were spending our money on. And he's always been one that's really helps us stick to our budget. And so I was like, all right, you're right. Okay. However, I also am known to be a little bit stubborn. And so a week later, here I am looking at this gal again on Facebook, and I'm like, okay, I think I need to try this. So I decided to sort of take the cheap route, I'll call it, and I just ordered the DVDs. I was like, surely if I just order the DVDs and I don't worry about that Shakeology stuff, and I just really stay low, like he won't give me a hard time about it. So I ordered the 21-Day Fix workout DVDs. They come to our house. He's not thrilled, but he's kind of like, okay, here we go. Let's see, what happens from this. And I started to do the workouts, love them, absolutely love that I can. At the time, I was doing them in my house. Since then, we have Beachbody On Demand come into the picture, and now I actually do the Beachbody workouts at the gym. But at the time, I was doing them in my house, which was perfect for the season that I was in. Loved the results I was getting, but I still was just super low on energy. And for me, I could not figure out the nutrition side of things. Just was stumped. I didn't honestly know anything about nutrition. I thought, packages at the grocery store that said heart healthy were actually really healthy. And so I was just kind of walking in blind every time I was in the grocery store. But I did keep hearing about this shake called Shakeology. And I was kind of, I kept hearing that, gosh, this is going to give me energy. These moms were talking about how it really helped them to curb their cravings for junk food. And at the time I was nursing, and all I wanted to do was eat all the carbs. So again, I look at the price and I think, okay, I can figure this out. So I looked at my grocery budget, and, I was one to go to Target quite often, like multiple times a week. And I knew that I was putting stuff in my cart that I got away with because Jake just saw Target on the receipt and not the extra stuff that I was throwing in. And so anyway, I was like, I bet I could cut out about $30 a week and figure out how to pay for my Shakeology, and that should do it. So what I decided to do to be extra, intentional about saving money was I just went ahead and signed up as a discount coach. Truly had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted to try these shakes and I wanted to have them cheaper. So I signed up as a discount coach, started to drink the Shakeology, was kind of skeptical still, but I knew that they had a 30-day money-back guarantee. So I was like, you know what, that's cool. I'll try it. I'll send it back if it doesn't work. But what happened to me was in about 3 or 4 days, I start drinking this stuff, and I'm like, I feel different. I feel like I don't want to eat as much crap. And it was totally changing. Like, it was blowing my mind because I had the biggest sweet tooth of anyone. And I decided I was going to remain consistent for 30 days. Even though the taste was a little weird at first, I stuck with it 30 days. And at the end of those 30 days, my nutrition had almost done a complete 180 thanks to this Shakeology stuff. So here I am in about, month and a half, went from this mom who was down on herself, who was depressed, who was low on energy, who was feeling just so defeated, to this mom who had a little bit of control over my life. Like, not a ton still, because I still had 4 crazy kids, but I could control a little bit of my day that made me feel like I was on top of something. And so once I started to see that this was changing my life in a significant way, then, it's funny how gradually your ears start to be open to these little things that are happening around you, like coaching and, what these other people were doing with the business. Because I signed up as a discount coach, I was actually placed in this team page of the team that I was on. And I learned that you could actually help other people by just sharing the products and sharing your experience. And so I thought, that sounds kind of cool. However, in the back of my mind, I was, again, really skeptical because I'm a people pleaser. And I had seen friends sell stuff before, and I had seen it done in a way that I did not love. And so even though my heart was like, that'd be really cool to help other people, there was this part of me that said, Yeah, but don't you think people are going to think less of you if you start posting about that kind of stuff on social media? Or, yeah, but aren't those just pyramid schemes? Pretty sure anything like that is a pyramid scheme. And it's just like these people at the top making all this money and everyone else can never get to where they are. And don't you have to be like one of the first people to start coaching in order to earn an income? And so I had all these thoughts playing in my head. Plus, again, I'm a people pleaser. And I thought, gosh, like, what if no one wants to be my friend anymore because I'm selling this stuff? And also, what if no one ever wants to join me? Like, let's say I do put myself out there. What if no one ever says yes? How humiliating will that be? And so I have all of these thoughts going on in my head. And I kind of said, okay, yeah, that would be cool, but I think I'm just going to wait a little bit. I think I'll just keep going on my own journey. Well, again, I just kept having this tug on my heart, and I just could not stop listening to it. And so that's really when I decided, okay, I'm just gonna dabble a little bit. And I said, you know what? I am gonna just, if I can help one person, that would be awesome. So I started to share my story more on the fitness side of things, which was really nerve-wracking for me, especially to share photos of me in a sports bra or me in my swimsuit. That was totally not something I was comfortable with. But I decided to do it because I kept thinking, and this is really what helps me to take the leap, I think, is I kept thinking of myself. So I kept thinking of myself before I had this community, before I had these workouts, before I had this nutrition figured out. And when I could remember that that's the person I was talking to, I was able to get over myself. I was able to get over my pride and caring about what people would think of me. And I was really just able to lead from my heart. And so that's what I did. I just started sharing my journey. I shared my ups and my downs. I didn't share that I was perfect all the time because I wasn't. In fact, 4 years later, I still struggle with things in terms of health and fitness. But I'll tell you what, I am so grateful that I have this community around me who has been with me through thick and thin. And so, you know, what started as I was a stay-at-home mom, really honestly, had no ambition to grow a business at all. I just wanted to help a few people. I just wanted to lose my baby weight. I just wanted Jake to stop being mad at me for going to Target and spending too much money. I just wanted a few simple things. But what happened was our business started to grow, and we started to get we started with this small group of women, helping them to get results. And when they got results, guess what happened? They were like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome. Now I want to share this and I want to pay this forward. And it really became this thing where we were just leading with our hearts, and we just wanted to make the circle bigger and show more and more women how possible it is to feel empowered no matter what their situation is. And so really from that day to this day, that's what our team is all about. We are about leading with our heart and leading with our stories. And so one thing that I hear from a lot of people, and I totally get it because I felt the same way, is, but I'm nervous to share on social media. I'm nervous to share stuff online that I don't normally share. Most of us, before we started, we were just sharing cute pictures of, you know, maybe our dog or our cat or our kids. And so here we are now thinking about growing a business. It can be a little bit overwhelming. But what's really cool is that all we ask for you to do online is to be 100% authentic to who you are. And as you are able to figure out how to do that, because it does take some training, which we'll help you with, but as you lead with yourself in a really authentic way, you start to attract people who really get you, who really understand you, and who really are able to relate to what you're going through. And so that is really how our team started, is just a bunch of women who, you know, imperfect women, moms, some stay-at-home moms, some working moms, some not moms at all. Like, it's not just moms on our team. We are a mix. We now have a lot of men that have joined our team. So over time, it's become this, you know, really beautiful collection of people who at the core of who we are just want to help others. Now, with that said, we are also really passionate about not only helping people figure out how to become better personally, but also, and physically and emotionally, but also how can we help you financially? And that's really where this coaching opportunity comes into play from, like I said, kind of the nuts and bolts of it. So we love leading with our heart. We always want to say that. But at the end of the day, the truth is your time is worth something. And I've learned that as a busy mom, if I am going to spend time outside of my friends and outside of my family, that it needs to be worth it. And so this is kind of the part that absolutely blew me away with coaching, because again, I had no idea any of this when I started. So we went from being a one-time or one-income family in 2015 to me starting to make a little bit of money with coaching in 2015, 16, 17. And then in 2018, our business had grown to a point where, Jake was working for 11 years in surgical sales and medical device sales. And so he's always had a really great job, and it's, he continued to move up the ranks. He was on pace to hit President's Club last year, like multiple six-figure income. And we looked at last year and we saw that this little side fitness business had really grown into something pretty cool for our family. And last year in the summer is when we started to have talks about how, this is really turning into something. What if Jake could use his skill set with all of the things that he's learned in business and actually come into our business full time? I needed help. I couldn't keep up with everything anymore. And so last year we made the switch. So Jake now and I work together because our income has grown into a multiple six-figure business. And so I say that not because I want to promise that everyone's going to do that, because it absolutely, and this is the legal disclaimer that we really want to say, it is absolutely dependent upon every coach's effort and the work that you put in. So I want to say that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not something that happens overnight. However, with hard work and with the right team and training, I tell you that to share anything truly is possible with this business. So let's say you go ahead and you're like, this sounds really awesome. I would love to help people get healthy. What does it actually look like to be a coach then? So really, it's pretty simple. Number one, you're going to start sharing your story on social media, which I get is scary, but we're going to give you all the tools you need to do that. You're just going to continue on your journey. So it does not matter tonight if you're sitting there going, yes, I'm in the best shape of my life, or I actually have some work that I want to do to get to where I want to be at. Wherever you're at, it does not matter as long as you're on a journey and you're moving in the right direction towards becoming the person that you want to be. And so you don't have to have perfect six-pack abs. You don't have to be at this, small waist size. You just, again, have to be you, and you have to be willing to be on a journey and to start sharing that journey in a really authentic way. And the reason I share that is because I think there's this fear, this idea that when you sign up to be a coach, you have to become some sort of fitness guru robot who just posts about fitness. But what we teach you to do, and Jake's going to touch on this in a minute here, we really teach you how to pull out the things in your normal life that you can share in a really authentic way, just because then you're going to actually be able to love on people on a daily basis. And that is what it looks like to share your journey on social media. So you're going to start sharing your journey more publicly. We're going to teach you and give you training tools to grow a bit of a social media following. From there, you're also going to decide, okay, I'm going to go for this and I'm going to lead my first boot camp or my first challenge group. And so you will pick a date and you'll say, okay, this is the first one I'm going to lead. And when you're a new coach, you are more than welcome to co-lead with your upline coach. We're all about helping our new coaches get started right. So once you lead you start advertising for your first boot camp. Again, we'll show you how to do that in a really authentic, sincere way. You may start to see people come out of the woodwork. And again, you won't even believe sometimes the people that are watching you on social media who are like, you know what, I really related to that post and I would love for you to be my coach. So some of it is just that you post and people come and they want to work with you. We also teach you how to find the right people to invite into your groups in an authentic way. So we're teaching you all of these things, but it's really just about being friends with people and loving on people and being the person that is so positive and energetic and caring that they just can't help but choose you. When they're finally ready to make a positive change, they want to work with you because they want something that you have. So you're going to run your first boot camp. You're going to go through that. While you're doing all of that advertising, you're going to be in a new coach training with us. And again, Jake's going to touch on the resources and what sets us apart there. But that's really what your first month looks like. And then as far as, how do you earn money then? There's really two ways. The first way is through what we call retail sales. This would be just like if you opened up a store on Main Street in your town. You open it up, you fill it with products, people come, and you get a certain % off of those products. When you're a Beachbody coach, what you have is your own website. So you don't have to store inventory. You don't have to do anything like that. It's just a link that you will get the day you sign up. And then anyone who purchases through your link at any time will then result in you getting a 25% commission on that sale. So that's the first way. And honestly, when you're starting out, our first goal is to get you to a point that first month where you are helping 3 people get started and your Shakeology, all your products are paid for. So that's kind of the retail side. A lot of people will stick in the retail side for a while. Maybe they don't really care about turning this into like a significant income. They just think it'd be cool to help a few people and, maybe earn some money for groceries or this and that. So they're going to kind of stay in that retail lane. You can definitely make, pretty significant income in the retail lane. However, if you're someone that wants to really go for it and you want to see what you can do with this, that's really when that second way that you can earn money comes into play, and that is through team bonus. And so the way that happens is, like I mentioned before, as you have coaches that join your team and as you help them to be successful, which you have all of our resources, so we're helping you help them. As you help your team, you're going to earn a bonus from their productivity as well. Now, with that said, just because you're on the top of your team doesn't mean that someone under you could not out-earn you. That's like the one thing that people always think is this big pyramid scheme, and it's not. You really have to be working the business in order to earn an income. And so it's totally possible that if I sign a coach up under me and they're working harder than me, that they're going to out-earn me. And we'll get into those details after you sign up. But I just want you to know that the opportunity here is 100% real. I would not come on here and share this if I was not 100% certain that this works. Like it is seriously just something that was so unexpected for us. And more than anything, it's just so cool. I always thought that I wanted to be in a career that I could help people. Like that's all I knew. But I also found that if I wanted to have a career like that, one, I had to be like a teacher or something like that where there's not a ton of earning potential, or I had to be a doctor, and I was never that good at school, so that was kind of out of the question for me. And so the fact that I found this tool, this vehicle that allows anyone, regardless of your background, regardless of your experience, to go, hey, I want to work hard, I want to be scrappy. That's one thing we're saying. We're like, got to be scrappy, you got to work hard, you have to show up. But if you're willing to do those things and serve other people, this can really turn into something special. So what I'm going to toss it over to Jake. I also wanted him to share a little bit about how he got on board, because one of the things that we hear a lot is, you're on this call, you're all jazzed up, and then maybe you go back to a spouse or significant other and they're not quite as jazzed as you. We get that. So he's going to first talk about his perspective and how he kind of changed his mind a little bit about this. And then he's going to go in and share what it looks like to get trained and supported by our team.
Well, hey, everybody. Hope you guys are having an excellent Wednesday night. It's been busy for us as we are pushing and giving everything that we've got to month end. So I appreciate all of you making this call part of your evening. Thank you so much. Amber talked a little bit about her experience getting on board, and I would say that mine was probably very different in the sense that I was very happy with what I did. I made good money. I was successful. I was good at what I did. I was recognized for being good at what I did, and I saw my future. continuing to grow and climb and getting promotions and getting new opportunities for training and all that kind of stuff. And as we continue to see this business grow and we continue to see more and more people come on board and Amber to have more confidence in it, I started having this like just tiny part of me in the back of my mind that wanted to find a way that I could contribute, and how can I help, and are there ways that I can pour into people or take some of the skill sets that I've learned, and how can I apply what I'm doing in sales to also help you. And I've always believed in diversification of assets. I'm a big believer in having multiple streams of income. It's a main reason why we also run a real estate group as well. So as I saw the business side of it continue to grow, I felt like we had a real opportunity to capitalize on it, to make money. I see network marketing as just kind of at the tip of the iceberg right now. I don't know if many of you guys listen to Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V, but he did an episode on his podcast recently where he just pointed out that there's this huge shift where Amazon now owns Whole Foods. And you're able to order groceries from the comfort of your cell phone right now. And how if you're not changing with changing times, and you're going to get left in the dust. And like that for me was kind of like a big tipping point where I just started realizing like, hey, maybe I could really think about doing this on a full-time level. And I had to switch, again, I'm accustomed to going into hospitals and calling on vascular surgeons, cardiothoracic surgeons, cardiologists, interventional radiologists. And so I have to like transition into like not thinking necessarily about, the cool job, but like thinking about the job that's actually making a lot of money in this business, and transitioning from my call point being interventionalists to now trying to figure out like, how can I actually look at all of these coaches and these people, these customers as my accounts. And so that like honestly is how my mind processes a lot of this stuff still. I think of the people on our team as if they're my top customer, and I have to figure out how I can help them succeed. And so Amber got me on Shift Shop. That was the first program that I ever did. And I think I watched you go through the test group and I was like, it's kind of cool. But I'm your stereotypical dude. Like I had my own routine. I hopped on the treadmill. I did my bicep curls, a couple crunches, and I crushed the steam room. So like you got me on Shift Shop. She just asked me to go through it. And if nothing changed, then you would never bother me again. And I went through the program start to finish. And I felt great. And then I was like, man, I kind of want to explore and try another program. And then I just kind of kept evolving and trying new things. And eventually we came up with this crazy idea called Sweat Well Spent, which I don't know if you guys have been around or have heard of Sweat Well Spent now, but it's something we do like once a year. But it was just this like big hybrid mashup of programs. And we did like a round of Sweat Well Spent. It was like 150 people signed up for it, which I was like, man, this is insane. And then we just got so much positive feedback. Like it was so fun to have this hybrid program, and how do we incorporate running? And it was like showing me that like I could run my own business and not necessarily just be this Beachbody robot that can only stick to Beachbody programs, that can only work out from the basement. And I can actually take whatever programs I enjoy doing. I can break them up if I want to. I can do them at the gym. I can listen to it in my wireless headphones. And then I think like the more I started realizing that these programs just gave me structure, the faster I got on board. And I realized that I could contribute in that I can help people, and then I can also do the fitness component. And so like I do a Beachbody workout just about every single day that I go to the gym now. Like I just love the structure of it. And for a busy male who's always kind of like in a creative mindset where I'm trying to think of like the next thing or the next tactic or like the next video that I want to do, it's nice that I can put on a workout and not have to be thinking about that as well. So that was really kind of like the two components to how I got on board. And now what I'm focused on is just trying to continue to create great resources for people who come on board. I think we're doing a really good thing with like our new coach mentorship. And so that's a really nice process I think that we've created. So you're on here, you're learning a little bit about how we came into this. You're learning a little bit more about the opportunity. What we typically will like to do ahead of time is actually like a true one-on-one opportunity call. And whoever invited you to this should be more than willing to accommodate one of those for you, but just to answer any specific questions that you have up front. Okay, and so that's before you've ever taken the leap, you've signed up, you haven't done anything. It's just you literally can hop on one-on-one and either ask us questions or ask the person who invited you to this call questions. We want you to feel comfortable with this up front. That's a huge component to it. The second thing, once you actually enroll, then we do what I call a GSR. It's like my favorite thing in the world. It's a getting started right call, and we walk you through this brand new tracker we just came out with called Right. And what we did is we went and we polled our most successful coach, and we said, hey, if you are a brand new coach, what are the 6 things that you would have loved someone to point you to early on in the process? And so we polled everybody, and we took 6 fundamental, simple things that you can implement right away, and we built a tracker for it. So we created this cool tracker called Right, helping you get out the gates the right way. So we run you through a Getting Started Right call where we walk through Right. We plug you into New Coach Mentorship. So you're really in New Coach Mentorship the same way you would be in any sort of corporate environment. Like new hire training, onboarding, all that kind of stuff. It's the exact same terminology. We just call it New Coach Mentorship. So you come in, you're in there for 3 weeks-ish, somewhere there. So you aren't expected to hop in and suddenly be this great, all proficient Beachbody coach. You're going to have 3 weeks of training that you're going to go through. We're going to do a Getting Started Right call, which goes 20, 30 minutes or so, where we can, again, answer any new questions that you have and give you this Right tracker. Once you graduate New Coach Mentorship, then you get dropped into what we call our Builders page. And that's really where I'm trying to spend all of my time and attention this year. And I'll keep it super simple, because the Builders page to me is going to be like the club that everybody should want to be at, because we're really between our time, you pour a lot of time in the New Coach Mentorship, and then I pour 100% of my time in the Builders page. Because what we want to be able to do is dedicate our resources and our attention and all of our energy to people who truly want to work this business. And we try and create simple guidelines. We give you a brand new tracker, kind of like a level up tracker, a 2.0 tracker. So you're a month in now, and now you get another tracker that's just going to help kind of gradually raise the expectations that you have for yourself and some of your responsibilities. But what we're trying to do is make this sustainable. And you hear me talk a lot about that in the Builders page, where essentially what we're trying to do is get you working anywhere from a half hour to an hour a day initially when you're first getting started. So you're budgeting maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours a week tops working this business. And as it continues to make more and more sense for you, you gradually increase. That's how we found this is truly we did it for 2 hours a week for the first couple of months when we were first getting started. And then as you gradually progress and it makes sense financially, then you start increasing the time that you're allocating. And then what we're doing right now, which is really fun, is that you also get to be a part of our big month-end pushes and trainings there. So you understand some of the expectations that we have as coaches and as leaders. And then you also get to see what the top coaches in our organization are doing, so that you have something that you can aspire to as well. So, all that, there's going to be fun prizes and incentives in there as well. But we're just trying to create this really fun culture where people can work hard at various points. They can find a consistent and a sustainable pattern so that they can do the action steps that are necessary to actually grow a business. And then the only thing that I'll say, because I get this a lot on Getting Started Right calls, is, how much should I expect to make? Will I make $10? Am I going to make $15? Or how long do I have to work before I start making money? Realistically, if you could go out and you just start showing up on a regular basis, and you can get in the habit of finding 3 people a month, that's it. You can be profitable in your business. It depends how you look at it, but either month 1 or month 2. By month 2, if you just follow the trainings that we'll give you, where essentially you're recruiting and you're retaining 3 and 3, so you have a total of 6 customers by the end of month 2, you're making somewhere around $215 a month. And that number only continues to grow over time. So when you're thinking, you're like, hey, I've got to go back, I got to have a conversation with my spouse, or is this for real? How much money would I actually make doing this? That's what you should be kind of focused on. Within the first 2 months, you need to find 6 people. And if you can find 6 people, you're making about $215 a month. I mean, that's real money. And then that number is only going to continue to grow, where by the end of year 1, if that's just the bare minimum that you do, you're probably making somewhere around $800, $900 a month.
Just with retail.
Just with retail. Mm-hmm. And that's no bonus. That's no nothing. That's just purely if you're, and that's minimums. If you're just finding 3 people a month, you're making an extra $900 for your family, which is real money. I mean, I don't have, what is it, 1,000? That's $10,800 a year. An extra $11,000 can cover a lot of expenses.
Yeah. So that's really the basics that we wanted to cover tonight. Are there questions that you really want to get answered that we didn't cover? Feel free to type them in the chat. Other coaches in here, if we forgot to touch on a subject that you were hoping we would, put that in the chat too. While I'm waiting, I am going to share the cost to get started. So this, again, is one of those things that blows my mind. What did we read the other day? That the average business, like
under conventional terms,
the average business costs.
Well, there's no cost, but it takes 2 to 3 years before it's profitable.
Oh, before it's profitable. But even to start it up, it's, thousands of dollars. So really with this, you guys, all you're doing is paying for your products. And so what you would do if you're interested in joining as a coach is we encourage all new coaches to purchase a challenge pack when they sign up, simply because it's going to waive the $39.95 enrollment fee. So if you have Beachbody On Demand right now, that's totally cool. You can purchase a completion pack. If your BOD subscription is about to expire, I would cancel it and then re-enroll with a challenge pack because you're going to save some money there. But challenge packs on average, range from $160 to, the really big ones are like $400 or $500, but most people start with $160 or like the $230, about to that range. If you want to get both Shakeology and Performance, it'll be a little over $200, but $160 is what you're looking at to get started. And so, that's why we also say, gosh, by the end of month 1 into month 2, our goal is for this business not to cost you anything ever again, and you can only move on to make profit. And again, all that happens through sharing your heart, sharing your story, going through training, and just showing up and working hard and really treating this like a business, treating it like a part-time job. So that's one thing we do help you do is, okay, what are your business hours for this week? Because if we can teach you little tools like that, you won't even believe it with some discipline what this can turn into. But that's the cost. And so $160-ish or more if you want to start, and that would get you to be coach status. You also save 25% on all products as a coach too. So that's really, next steps to get started. If you're on this call and you're like, yes, I want to jump in, I want to go for it, we would love to have you on our team. We honestly, it's our greatest joy to help new coaches really figure out this business, because we know it's possible and we know that we're nothing special. We just showed up and worked, and if we can do it, anyone can do it. So we are so grateful that you took some time with us tonight. And honestly, we are just absolutely just can't wait to see who God just keeps bringing onto our team, because it's just so fun to see the community that keeps forming. And so if you're ready to go, just reach out to the person who invited you to hop on this call or watch the recording, and we will be able to give you next steps to get started. All right, thanks guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.